Hi, my name is Kelly O'Brien. This is my presentation on inclusive leadership. The first article I chose is called A Conscious Case for Diversity and Inclusion. It's an article written by an executive at a consulting agency. The agency works to help other companies implement inclusive environments. The main purpose of the article is, of course, to kind of be like a promotion. It gave a lot of examples of their success and how they've turned around companies. But really, it talked about the results of implementation, how companies began to be more collaborative and innovative, and how that eventually led to just larger profit margins. I've got a couple of quotes from the article here. Diversity is a commitment to recognizing and appreciating the variety of characteristics that make individuals unique in an atmosphere where individual and collective achievement are celebrated. Really, this article, it discussed diversity in terms of race and sex and gender, of course, but really what it focused on was that any kind of way that individuals are unique needs to be worked together to make a new culture in the workplace. It's not really just about integrating people of different races or anything like that. She even talked about how you need to incorporate different learning styles, and that can lead to collaboration. I really like that. I thought that was really helpful. I think that aspect of diversity is really applicable to education. I mean, we always have to teach different learning styles, but it's nice to hear that that even needs to be appreciated in workplaces. Another quote here: to execute, to prosper, to build a strong leadership pipeline, to serve society, all rely on inclusive cultures. Okay, I think this really emphasizes that inclusive cultures don't just lead to prosperity in a business, they lead to all sorts of positive things. Really, I like the idea of building a strong leadership pipeline. I know this class is about us becoming better leaders, but really, I think this could help build leaders inside of the student body. Students would feel more part of their school, would want to take more action in their school, and that's really what we want to accomplish. Conscious capitalism model overwhelmingly outperformed. Part of this article talks about how these companies that have implemented inclusive environments are outperforming S&P 500 companies. I think that really would lead, inclusive environment inside of a school would not only lead to all of these great things about students feeling better about being in school, but really it would lead to better student performance. They would be learning more, they would be performing better in classes and on state assessments, on all of those things that we would look to accomplish. Organizations that focus on developing strong and inclusive leadership pipelines benefit tremendously in collaboration and innovation. I think this is really what we want to accomplish with our students. We want to create creative, collaborative students. And I think building an inclusive environment is really a way to accomplish that. So what to take from this article? I think inclusive leadership is beneficial at all levels. Okay, for managers, it makes people more productive. It makes people happier, easier to manage. Part of the article really emphasizes that implementing inclusive environments leads to lower turnover. I think in terms of schools, that would really help students stay in school. It would be, student retention, which is always great things accomplished. Employees, the students in this case, would be happier. They'd be more productive. They wouldn't feel like they don't necessarily belong in the school, and that's not even just minority students like ESL students. That's just every student in a classroom. Lots of times they feel like second-class students to teachers and other students. And making an inclusive environment would really eliminate some of that. They would feel like a partnership in the school, not really, a second-class citizen. Okay, the second article I found is called "Is Diversity Management Sufficient? Organizational Inclusion to Further Performance." This is actually an academic study. This one was trying to decide if just implementing diversity management and programs to increase recruitment of different, gender or different races into the workplace was enough to create an inclusive environment. They looked at 5 different agencies in Texas, different state agencies, and they compared the productivity and performance of the employees, how they felt about how they worked, based on what kind of programs have been instituted or whether or not there was actually an inclusive environment versus just things like affirmative action and things. Here's some quotes again from this. We normally divide the world into them and us. Employee perception is thus on an inclusion-exclusion continuum. And to fulfill a basic need of belonging, individuals seek inclusion to a group where they are accepted and made to feel secure. I think this points out really that feeling a part of the group is a human need. We look to find that. And really, if we can create an inclusive environment in the workplace and in the school, okay, we wouldn't be needing to feel like outcasts or anything like that. It would help students feel like they really belong. That would fill that human need. Okay, I think really this could be focused on every part of the school district. This would need to be between teachers and paras and students. Lots of times paras feel like they are, not a part of the normal education group. They're not a part of the school, really. They're just kind of like babysitters. And really the focus needs to be on creating a cohesive group between everybody at all levels. Okay, the focus needs to change from an over-reliance on policies and structural changes to fostering an environment that promotes inclusiveness. Okay, employees making use of work-life balance programs are often singled out as receiving preferential treatment, and policies are not always successful if they are not part of a larger organizational initiative headed by top-level management. So all these kind of work together to say that just having a policy that there needs to be an inclusive environment isn't enough to actually attain it. And just having, a mid-level management person say this is what we need to do isn't enough either. These programs need to come from the top level, and they need to be throughout programs, throughout businesses, but really throughout the whole school. Everyone would need to be committed to creating this new environment. Because lots of times policies are these balance programs, people taking a part of them are singled out as, getting special treatment and their job's easier and all that kind of stuff. I feel like students in ESL programs feel like that a lot of times. They feel like either they're being pulled out of class because they're dumb, and other students think that they're getting easier classes just because they don't speak English as well, things like that. The emphasis really needs to be placed on that this isn't about easier or more difficult or anything like that, that it's about having everyone succeed, and we all need to work together and cooperate to accomplish that. Okay, also here, research has shown that perceptions of inclusion predict job commitment and performance. The results show that improving organizational performance requires leadership which is dedicated to fostering inclusion and that can empower employees. So the first quote here, I think that this research is showing that inclusion, an inclusive environment, having inclusive leadership, leads employees to feel committed to their job and increases their performance. I think this would have students be committed to school. I think we would see lower dropout rates. Students would just not be sitting there wasting the day away. They would really want to be making the most out of their school day. Okay, and really the way to accomplish this, it needs to come from the top down. It needs to be everybody involved, and everybody seeing it as a priority for this to really work. Okay, forcing integration is not sufficient. Just mixing a bunch of people together and saying, oh, they'll create their new environment is not good enough. Okay, there actively has to be searching for this new inclusive environment. Inclusive leadership has to be at the top of that. It has to be led by the top. Okay, students will take cues from the leaders, teachers and paras. If teachers and paras and the principals and administration, everybody, all of the adults are trying to create a better environment, the students will pick up on that. And they, not only will they do better in school, they'll help other students get to this point. Okay. Challenges to inclusive leadership. I think one of the main challenges to this would be getting all of the followers to buy in. Really, if one person doesn't want to be in this, they're always going to feel in that out group. And that's sad, and that's really difficult with teams. I feel like they're lots of times too cool to collaborate, and they don't want to do what any of the staff members says because that's not cool. But that really is just they're kind of ostracizing themselves. I think that would be one of the toughest problems in this. Okay, and even some staff members. Some staff members have been teaching for 30 years, and they don't want to try anything new, and they've just decided they know what's best, and that would be a big challenge to this. I also think it would be difficult to create a balanced environment. It's difficult sometimes to get students to feel empowered about their own decisions and that they have, decisive power in their education without giving them the chance to kind of just walk over everybody. It would be hard to find that balance between encouraging their freedom and decision making without losing their adherence to goals and rules and things like that. Okay, and that's my presentation. Thank you.